Hey everyone, I hope y'all are having a great day. I am just here sharing out everything. So let me go ahead and get started on that. Uh, if you're here, hi, welcome. Say hey in the chat, like say hey everyone. And I wanted you to know I have an ongoing list of everything that you all requested. I know quite a few you all asked about the data binder. I have some of my students, actual ones that I've saved. I wish that I was at school today. I was just really nervous about going up there and then the internet being even more sketchy than it already is. So you could see the other ones, but I'll make sure to see if I can scan some of those. But here are some. I know a lot of questions about these, so I'll talk about these in the Q&A. Hi, Lisa. Hope you're having a great day today. And I will go ahead and dive in because I want to make sure we use every moment today. So if you're here, you're joining us, say hello in the chat. I am going to pull up because I like seeing. Let me see here. My adventures in ESL. I'll be able to pull up here. Uh-oh, don't let me do this. Okay. Hi. Hi, and Miss Raider. I got your comment and so I was gonna tag you in this post, but this is an example of the data binder and I will talk about this today. You know, it's one of those things, side note about these data binders is that I feel like because when I ask people in the group, like, what do you want to talk about? And they always say planning. You know, you never hear many things about like I want to know about like data binders and things like that, but I'm starting to get more and more questions about these. So I'm wondering maybe if I do need to do a special session around them. I probably will in this upcoming month do one around these data binders and maybe even just brainstorming like ways to create lessons around them as well. But I will definitely talk about these today because I always feel like I skim through it because I don't think people really are interested in it much. But you all have shown me that you all are. So I'll definitely go over that today. So shout out to you all for asking about those. I'll definitely talk about them today. And I said that anything, I know a lot of you all had questions about, no, hold on, you all. I need a pen. Uh, and, okay. Sorry. A lot of y'all had questions about like curriculum and so I'm gonna send you all out. I know I have a free guide. Like I said, I'll usually do that like towards because most people start school mid late August. I usually release it mid August, so I'll make sure to work on that this week and give you that free guide. Or I'll definitely link the one that I have now, so you can kind of see. As you all can see, practicing what I'm preaching. This is me today. I got my in-service schedule, so even today, like I sat down, blocked out everything in service wise that I have to do that's required and you see on here like and then I'm going to go in and like plan around it. So I didn't do this last year either, and when it was in service week, this is one of the first opportunities, you all. I was really excited that I had. They really, at this current school district I'm in, they really do give you a lot of time. I know definitely for ESL teachers to plan, to prep your classroom, and I had so much time to do that I didn't even know where to start. Like, I don't know if this ever happened to you all before, but like where you have time to do something and you're like, okay, what do I do? I do not want to make that same mistake again this school year, so I'm definitely using my planner to actually plan out my in-service week. And I'm going to use this side where it's blank to create like to-do lists and for the week to kind of keep me on track. I'll show you how to do that this week. And like I said, this is like on this side, I just did the days, blocked out the days that I have to actually do like PD and in-service during the week. And then on those other days, those are my two priorities, like room setup, lesson planning. Like those are my two priorities for this upcoming week. So just to give y'all the heads up. But I would love to know how you all doing. I have a quick question. Was anybody able to do the homework and able to actually kind of sketch out their first week outline? I would love to know in the chat if you are able to do that. It's okay if not, but just make sure that you aren't, over complicating anything or making it difficult for yourself any more than it has to be. Okay, so let me see. Do entire screen. Oh, I'm getting the hang of it. So just make sure that you're not. But if you were able to do that, to like kind of sketch out your week, I would love to know in the chat how that went for you and the planning around that. So please share that if you're able to share that. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is today we're going to talk about some essentials that you need to be successful the first week of school with your language learners. I'm also going to bring up some things that people have been emailing me about. Specifically, teachers have been talking about like teacher collaboration, and that's huge. It really is huge. I have been doing it, and I'm going to give you all my honest, transparent, real way that I do it. It's not going to be some fluff PD way. I'm going to just really be real with you all and just share with you like my own personal strategies that work for me. It may not work for everybody, just depending on your type of personality, but I am just going to share just real things that work for me, and also some real conversations that you need to be having prior to you pushing in. And so I know this has come up. I know, like, I think Sandra sent me a message about it. A new teacher sent me a message about it. And so I'm definitely going to be discussing that as well. And you do need that because that is a huge part of your first week, introducing yourself to the teachers, getting to know the teachers, meeting with the students that first week. So that is really, really important. Okay. So I just want to give you all a heads up. Another thing that we're going to talk about that I'm going to jump in today is that I know you all mentioned a couple of things about planning. I am going to be sharing with you today free resources and paid resources. It's completely up to you. You can do a mixture of both or what you feel comfortable doing. So I'll share with you like free resources I have that you can use. I will share with you paid resources that I have that you can use. You can use a mix mash of both. You can use one or the other, whatever works for you. At the end of the day, whatever you choose, I want you to make sure that you go into the school year having something. Like that's going to be really crucial for your school year. So I will definitely share both with you all as well. If you can, you all have been great participants. Just make sure that if you can stay focused, do that during today. Like I said, we're going to be brainstorming all our back to school checklist, things that we need to do before we go into the school year. Like I told you all, tomorrow I'm going in at 8:30 in the morning, and I'm just going to stand in the room and I'm going to look around, and I'm going to show you like my checklist so far, but I'm going to take this same checklist and I'm going to really just flesh it out a little bit more tomorrow when I go to school, because it's just something about being in the room. You kind of seeing what you need to do, and then getting everything in place. Just if you're coming in the end of this, I want to just go over our journey, where we are, because this is we're almost at the end of our journey today. So here was our week. We did the kickoff. We talked about routines and procedures. We discussed how our high expectations. We talked about how to build relationships. Yesterday, we sketched out a draft of our just to help us plan the first week of school with our students. Like I said, I hope if you've done that, if you've not, please make it a point to do this at least a week before you go back to school, or before in service rather. That way, when it's time for you to sit down and plan, like you saw when I sit down and plan like detailed PowerPoints and everything for next week, I am going in and I'm knowing what I need to do. So I'm not confused about what I'm planning about that for the students I see the first week. And after that, today we're going to talk about drafting a checklist. And I like checklists. They help keep me focused and on track for everything that I need to do for that week. It is really important for me to do this, especially when it comes to compliance. Like I really struggle with compliance and keeping everything on task with that. And this is how I do it. Since I started doing it this way, on point. So I want to make sure that I'm not skipping anything in that regard. So definitely get you a checklist, get you some form. I know some people use like online. I've done this one school year, like project management systems, where if you have a huge team, then I've used this with my team before, where we've had like a project management system. Like I use Nifty for my own personal one, but I can't think of the other one. But you just basically create a online to-do list, and you kind of slide things over as you're doing it. It's really great, and your team can kind of see where you are. And so once I think of the name of that, I'll make sure to put that in the chat. So if you have any questions about the week, anything that you want us to address later on in this meeting or in this session, please put that in the chat so we can go ahead and we can go over it. Okay. So today we're going to talk about our welcome. We're going to do our reflection. I'm going to share with you free ways to get lesson plans, and I'm going to share with you some paid ways to get lesson plans. However, which way you choose, I support you. Wherever your journey, whatever works for you. At the end, make sure you find something that works for you. Okay. We're going to talk about our back to school checklist, and then we're going to do our live Q&A, and then I'm going to share with you how you can get your PD certificate that you can submit to see if you can get flex credit or for your time being here. Please use that PD certificate to see if you can submit to get some type of credit, because you put in the work and you deserve those PD hours for it. So I'll make sure to do that for you. So right now, if you can let me know in the chat, what are some things that you're doing this week or that you've already done, including this, that you are preparing for the upcoming school year? I would love to know in the chat how that is working for you, and what are some things that you're doing that will help you prepare for the upcoming school year. Just give you all a few moments to do that. Like even just for me today, I am working on my checklist, fleshing it out so I can have a clear plan going into the school year. But I would love to know if you all feel like doing it, if you all want to share that in the chat. And I'm going to say to provide to you all. To provide. Some of you all said data binder link. Sandra, I cannot wait to share with you the strategy. Just a really good strategy, Sandra said. And I'm start that question, and I'm going to come back to it because I have a couple of strategies that work for me. Personally as well. I mean, it's going to really depend on your personality. Jennifer says that she's working on data, updating PLC guys. Oh, good old PLC guys. I love that. Lisa says she's going over that compliance checklist. Lisa, are you curious to know, are you in a huge, do you have a big population of ELLs in your school district? I know, definitely know Jennifer does. But oh my goodness, that compliance checklist. If you're a new teacher out there and you're watching this, do not underestimate that compliance checklist. Like I said, I could not find. Jennifer, I'm really curious. Do you have the one? Me and Jennifer used to work for the same school district. Jennifer, do you have the one that they use for SES at the ESL office? That compliance like checklist they give us at the beginning of the school year? Every time I see it, I want to cry on the inside. But I'm curious, Jennifer, do you have that checklist by any chance? If you do, I would love if you can maybe send a screenshot of it. I just want people to see it. It is really, really intense. So if you're a new teacher out here and you're coming into the ESL world and you're like a compliance checklist, you even see Lisa. She has a compliance checklist for her district. And so it varies by district, state by state. They mostly are based on the federal law. So they're all going to be kind of similar in some type of way. Jennifer, could you please, if you do have a screenshot, I'm going to ask Steve if he has it. I just want people kind of to see like how long it is. Yeah, so it can be really, really intense. So make sure if you're a new teacher, you please get with your supervisor and really take the time to go through that checklist, ask as many questions as you have about it. and like it can have so much on there: screening, folders, pulling scores, sending student scores. Like it's very in depth. Um, Vivian says she's writing down. Let me do this. Make sure I'm doing this. Vivian says she's writing down everything I need to do the first week. Teachers are back to go back and organize it. I went to my last year agenda to check when I started to work with students. Oh, that's a good idea. Oh, that's a really good idea. And then use that date as a guideline to prepare before and after that date. I'm going to borrow that too because that's a really good idea. Like I said, I don't know. I think last school year I didn't start the same. I didn't start on the first day. Like I said, I think I felt like I started a week and a half, almost 2 weeks after, if I'm not mistaken. But I like Vivian's strategy of going and looking at your agenda and kind of getting an idea. Sandra says she's going to incorporate strategies and icebreakers shared throughout the week, as well as getting ready for testing new students when we go back on August the 23rd. Testing is huge too. I in middle school with WIDA, we just put them on the computer. But now I have to do paper testing, which is a lot more involved than just putting them on the computer and then we just screening it and doing it automatically. So it's really, really different. So yes, yes. Um, yeah. Oh, great. Vivian says she's already sent a email to our library specialist to check if we have some of the books I found for read aloud. That's great. And I know that librarian is going to be so, so happy. They are the most helpful people. I really seriously thought for a moment, I was like, I would love to be a librarian. It seemed like it would be so much fun. But I realized a lot of times they do a lot of extra things like tech and all of that stuff. And I was like, I don't know about that. But that is a really great idea because even doing something like that, sending them a book list to see if they have those books, and I'm willing to bet that they probably can, if they don't have them, they probably will find a way to get you those books for the read aloud. Thank you all for sharing that. Thank you all so much. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you all some strategies in the curriculum that I'm using this school year. I talked about this yesterday, but I wanted to invite you all to the Close Read Club. I got a lot of good feedback over the past year and a half of me doing it. And one of the biggest pieces of feedback is that teachers said they wanted something from day 1 to day 30. Man, they wanted a whole month planned out. And so that's what I did. So I took a passage and I planned the whole month around that theme. And so one of the things when I was doing this, and I kind of talked about this yesterday, was that my goal is that one, I'm using this with my students this year, but my goal in doing this is that I wanted to take the students on a trip around the world. That was like when I planned this, I was like, I want them to go all around the world. Like I want them to go to Egypt. I want them to go to Kenya. I want them to go to Mexico. I want them to go to countries in the Middle East. Like, that was like my mission and my mindset when I was planning this. So that's how, when I pulled the passages, when I pulled the books, that's where I was going with it. So as you can see, like it says, it has lessons from day 1 of the month all the way to day 30 of the month. So you won't have to do anything. Now, if you're like me, I'm probably going to like tweak things, change things around. It's for grades 4 through 12, but am I using this for my third grade group? Yes, I put 4 through 12 because of the standards, but me personally, I am going to use it for my third grade group, and then I'm going to adjust some of those skills and some of those standards. So the goal is that to make your planning easier. When I ask people to come into the group, what is their number one thing that they talk about? It's planning. Everybody's like, I just want to make planning easier. We even discussed this yesterday. I want to make my planning easier because it's overwhelming because a lot of times we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 grade levels that we need to plan for. And so I found that, and we all discussed this yesterday as well, is that it's easier for me in my planning to pick a common theme, pick a common standard, and teach around that. So that can look like I told you all just a moment ago when I go back, like here, my theme for the month where we're traveling for the month is Egypt. And the passages that we're going to be reading and the books that we're going to be reading are about ancient Egypt. And that skill that I am going to be teaching for the month could be, for example, we talked about summarizing. So I'm going to have a lesson around summarizing. that's how I plan. It makes my planning easier, it's effective, and it works for me. Now, in the situation I am now, it's a little quite different because, like I said, I have a set curriculum for K through 2 that is provided by the school that I have to use, but that's already provided. All I have to do is make PowerPoint slides for that. I'm good. But for third through fifth grade, is on me to plan that. And so this is how I plan on doing it for the school year. So, like I said, you get detailed lesson plans for each unit, you get a monthly curriculum map, you get a month worth of lessons. Those lessons include do nouns, reading, formative assessments, summative assessments, and a specific skill focused lesson as well. Here's an example of just unit 1, how everything is planned out. If it says Brain Pop video, that means it's a free Brain Pop video. You do not have to buy anything additional for Brain Pop. But here's a unit 1 sample. As you can see, you see the month at a glance, and you pick and choose what works for you. You can do the whole month. You can pick and choose what works for you. If you want to just do one day here, one day there, the goal is that you have something. So I told you all yesterday, I kind of spoiled it, but yesterday, it's $149 for the whole year. You all can get a $50 off coupon, or you can just join today for the $5. So you can join for $5, get the whole month for $5, try it out. If it works for you, then you can just do monthly payments of $20 or use that coupon that I mentioned for $50 off. And so I will be sending you all information about all of this through an email, so you all can get the coupon code, you can get the unit, and it's for everyone that is in my group and on my email list, and that showed up today. So I'll be sending more information about that, but I wanted to give you all the kind of details and the guide of what it looks like, how it looks like, and what I'm doing. And I will give you all a quick overview at the end of all of that. But I definitely want, if you want to take a screenshot of this additional coupon code, and of course, I set it up to you where if you all just go online, you want to try unit 1, try unit 1. If it works for you, just send me an email, say, hey, this didn't work for me, then we cancel. So I definitely understand. Like I said, the goal is that you go into the school year with a plan, okay? Like you have something to go into the school year. On the flip side, a couple of y'all asked, well, do you have some free resources? And yes, I do. So let me go to my Teacher Pay Teacher store really quickly. And what I'm going to do is, and I'll put the link in there for you all. And like I said, it'll automatically, you can get this one that I'm giving you, and I'll show it to you. And I'm going to change it because when I change it, the old one goes away. So that's why I'm just going to give this to you all first, because this may work better for you if this is what you all prefer. I keep clicking on my store. I keep clicking on free. Let's see. And then, where is it? Okay. Okay, let me go back to the screen. Okay. So this is free. So I'll put the link in the chat for this too. Now, some of you all, now, like I tell people who do this, like this is one of those situations where like if it's free, but you're going to have to do like the heavy load of planning it. So like you can use this when people send me emails, I say, hey, like, you can use this curriculum app. And even though I say like grades, in this case, like 5 through 9, whatever, you can use it for any grade. I mean, if you're doing the planning around it, you can still use it for any grade. So right here, if you scroll down, here's an example of like the pacing guide, and I say middle grades 4 through 12 for this. So here, and this is how I'm going to do it differently this year. I'm not going to put the weeks. This is just for me when I did it last year. But I'll just put maybe like week 1 instead of the dates, because I think some people were like, oh, But here, like I have a topic, like this is the topic. Here is a text that I use. You see that's on Get Epic. And then right here, I talked about like the literacy lesson that I did for the week. And so the goal or the standard that I touched on that week was like citing evidence. And then here I have the grammar part. So that's like my mentor sentences. I have that in my teacher store too. But I just put mentor sentences. If you want to create your own mentor sentences, you can create your own. But I really told people like to use this. Like if anything, you can use this for your topic. You can use this for a mentor text for the students. You can use this to get like ideas for like skills that you want to touch on for your students. So this is free as well. I'm going to update this. It's going to look a little differently, but this is from last year. But you see right here how I planned. I put like all of the dates in that I was going to be out of school first. And as you can see, like each week there was maybe a different topic. Me personally, after trying it this way, for me, it was I know some teachers prefer this because they just like, like, okay, this is our topic for the week for this week. This is our topic for the week. For me, when I was doing it this way, and that's why I changed it to the other way that I just showed you, it was just really hard. I felt very all over the place. So that's why I'm changing it this year. But that's just my own personal style. So if this works for you, even if you just want to download this, use the structure to create your own personal like curriculum guide for the school year. Use the ideas, use the topics to create your own personal curriculum guide. You can use the like here the literacy lesson to create your own. You can create your own if you want to. That's perfectly fine. It just depends on I'm a mixture of like I told you yesterday, of paid items and free items. Like, some things I don't mind paying for, some things I'm like, okay, I can just do it myself. And you all may be the same way. So I want to give you all two options. But at the end of the day, pick something, even if it's not with me. Like I told you all, I love Scholastic Teachables. I love reading A to Z. And of course, the materials that I make that I love and use for my students. But the goal of this is definitely choose, I would say no more than three, three things that you're going to kind of just pull together from and design your curriculum for yourself for the school year. And it doesn't have to be all at one time. You can do a month at a time, whatever works for you. So please let me know if you have any questions. This one, Sandra, you cannot edit this one. Only because this is the one, like my own personal one that I used and I posted up. And I really don't know. I don't know how I would probably make you all edit it unless I do like a PDF file, but I don't know if I would have time to do that. But what I can do, Sandra, is provide a blank one. I can definitely make a blank one for you, and you can fill it in how you want to fill it in. And if you want to use a mixture of both, use a mixture of both. That's perfectly fine. Whatever. Whatever. Oh, okay. Jennifer says she's put the forms in the chat on the challenge post. Okay, I will make sure to go look, Jennifer, so I can see as well on here. Let's see. Jennifer, I don't see it yet, but all comments. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back, Jennifer. I don't see it yet. So just so you all can have those options, if you have questions about that, please. I will be sending out emails about it next week to you all, giving you all more details, previews. Oh, thank you, Miss Raider. Thank you. So yeah, so whatever works, find something that works. I want to encourage you all, please. Don't go into the school year without a plan on what you are going to teach. Like, and it's unfortunate. I feel like, and I'm just getting on the tangent here, but I just feel like there are very few like curriculums out there that meet the needs of our students because I guess we just have just such a wide range. Like some of us have mostly newcomers. Some of us have, like me, I don't have any newcomers. I may have one newcomer this year. And so my wish is, and this may be something I personally want to work on, is just finding something that is engaging. Because you can find some curriculum, but you're like, okay, this is boring. The kids think it's boring. So finding things that are engaging that the students can, enjoy and learn from. So, but I want you all to reflect for me and share in the chat what is something that you all are most excited about this school year. For me, I am excited about, and I haven't felt this way in a long time, setting up my classroom. And I'm excited about doing it and having the students actually enjoy the classroom. So I'm really excited about that this school year. And also taking field trips with the students this school year. So I'm excited about those things. So I would love to know in the chat what you all are excited about. Really quickly, yes, I see my students all day. Not oh yeah, I see them every day. I'm about to say all day every day. I see them every day. Yes. Now, Vivian, this year I don't know. I have quite a few, which is a blessing. I'm happy for them, and I don't. I'm curious to know how it is in your states. And Jennifer can kind of talk about this how it's in Tennessee. But like in our states, if students have, and Jennifer, please let me know because if I'm off, but I'm almost positive that if it's a 3.5 and higher on their WIDA assessment, we don't have to see them every day. They can be like a customized schedule, like maybe two times a week, right? Um, so I don't know how that's going to work because it also depends on RTI. But right now, I'm seeing them every day in 50-minute blocks every day because I see them doing RTI time um, at our school. So yeah, and I know some of you all are on different blocks as well, and don't see all your kids every day. But I know definitely here in Tennessee, if their WIDA score is 3.5 and below, I think that's what it is, then I have to see them every day, 50 minutes, an hour a day. An hour a day. Oh, and that's where that teacher collaboration come in because if I have a 50-minute block, you best believe the state wants to know where am I spending that other 10 minutes with them a day. So that's where that teacher collaboration part comes in. Some of you all are saying helping my students improve in writing. Lisa, I want to say go to my store, click free, just try them out first. I have some really great resources writing paragraph prompts and paragraph builders that are free. I think I have 3 free ones in there. Try them out, see if you like them. I bet you will, though. And it really helped improve my students' writing a lot. Jennifer says that she is excited about field trips. We are wanting to do some ESL fundraising for additional trips. Jennifer, please let me know how I can help in any way. I miss them so much. Let me know how I can help in any way. Hannah says, I'm so excited to meet our newcomers and their families. Oh, I love it. We have many newcomers enrolled this year, specifically from Honduras. Wow. El Salvador and Mexico. Hannah, if you don't mind sharing, if you feel comfortable, what state are you in? Just curious what state you're in. Um, yeah, with mine, I see 3.5 and higher every day, but I'm considered their ELA. Yes, right? So that's really cool too. Like if you're their ELA teacher, which, oh my gosh, I miss being it. That was so much fun being their ELA teacher. Only thing is grades. I struggle with grades. I struggle keeping them updated. That was the only thing. Vivian says she lose LSA links. 3.5 would be intermediate or early intermediate. Here is considered intermediate. I know for students. So yeah. This is a thank you. Oh, you're in Minnesota. That is really interesting because Hannah, I just knew you were somewhere down south. I just knew it. I'm really, really surprised actually. I have a lot of questions. So are they so if you might say the chat, are they like are is something like as far as I know here, a lot of families come from Honduras, El Salvador, Mexico for construction jobs. Is that the same way that's happening in Minnesota? I'm really shocked you said Minnesota. I really am. Because I know a lot. We haven't had as many families. Um, I know where I was previously, where Miss Jennifer was from those 3 countries. So that's really interesting, and I'm excited to hear about that they are coming up to Minnesota. So thank you all for sharing those. That's really great. And what I'm going to do now, if you all have a pen and paper, you can go ahead and get those out. And what we're going to do now is brainstorm our back to school checklist. And I'm going to share with you my back to school checklist and share with you like strategies around how I prepare for it. Um, yeah, it's really interesting how I'm preparing for it. Jennifer says they have a really growing Venezuelan population, and I've noticed that too. So I know, I guess it's zoning, but it's a in the school district I am in, there are some apartments, and a lot of Venezuelan families are moving into those apartments over there in that school district here in Tennessee. I find that just so intriguing. The locations people are migrating to is just really intriguing. Rhonda says she's excited about using new strategies to increase student engagement and building stronger relationships with students and their families this year. Yes, and Rhonda, by you doing that, that is, I mean, oh my goodness. I would say if you have and you all are doing it right now, like sharing your wins, but if, wait a minute, I feel like did I skip some? Completely skipped something. Wait, yeah. So I feel like if you are doing that like now, then your behavior problems when you do have them, or if you ever do have them, I mean, are going to increase significantly because of that. Because just building the relationships with the families is so important. And I just, can't stress enough how you need to do that. So I think I placed the slider wrong place somewhere, but that's okay. I'm pretty sure I did that. But let me go ahead and I'm going to switch over to uh, the checklist that I am using. If you have a pen and paper out, I would love for you all to just follow along and kind of use this to just brainstorm, not just to overwhelm yourself, but just to kind of brainstorm your categories. So that's the first thing that I do when I'm drafting my checklist for the first week. And I'm going to zoom in just a tinch. When I am planning my checklist for the first week, and like I said, I encourage you all to sit down, draft out everything that you have to do. For me and how I need it to work for me, I do categories first. So as you see here, my categories are classroom setup and organization. At first, I did two separate ones. I did lesson plans because I need to lesson plan, compliance, and then I did teacher collaboration. So those are my four key categories for for physically my first week of school. Like, like the first week. Like I said, I'm not seeing students, but my first week of school, I know, right, that I am going to need to do all of these things. And so the first step I do is I make categories, right? So I would love to know, we're going to start off with the first category. You can see mine, but for classroom setup and organization, can you all share in the chat two things that you all have to do around your classroom setup and organization? And if some of you all say, well, first of all, depending on when you all go back to school, and I tell those people all the time, you deserve to know what room you're going to be in, and you deserve to know what you're going to be doing. So ask your admin, ask them, where am I going to be? Where am I going to be? And keep asking. Okay. So at this point, if you're like me and just a week ahead of time and people are saying, well, I don't know where you need to keep asking. Where am I going to be? I want to prepare. I want to make sure I'm prepared for the students. I want them to have a good experience. So keep asking. So please share in the chat and comment. What are two things that you all need to do around classroom setup and organization? Um, oh, see, do you all see? She says, can you, Vivian, what do you mean? Can you show them again? What did you mean? Show what again, Vivian? I'm sorry. Let me know in the chat. Yeah, Hannah was saying that she has a lot of immigrant support. Oh my gosh, as far as housing, school, and we see a lot of people move here because they have family and friends who've come in before them. That is just so wonderful and beautiful. And I am going to definitely be sharing that with people. Like when I talk to them, that you share this. A lot of families moving there. So they tend to migrate to areas where they have friends and families already living there. Maybe immigration also played a role into where they go in terms of states. This is just so interesting. That is a really good point um as well. Yeah. Oh, okay. Vivian, do you all see it now? Like here, do you all see it? I thought I had it pulled up. Does it still pull it up on your all screens? And let me look on my computer because I so happened to click off. It's not. It's not. Hold on. I thought it was. Do you all see it now? Thank you for telling me that because I just knew that it was pulled up. Okay. So yes, yes. So if you all can share in the chat, what are two things that you all have to do around classroom setup and organization? Two things that you can put on your checklist. And I know for me, like tomorrow, it's going to get longer probably, and that's okay. Okay, great. Yeah, you all see it now. Okay, that's great. Yeah, I know like when I'm brainstorming, a lot of times, like I said, it helps me to go ahead and create the categories first. And then brainstorm under the category. That way I kind of have a clear plan of what I need to do. As a side note, this could be just me being extra, but then I kind of take what I'm doing and then I put it on. Sometimes, depending on how I plan, I'll like I told you, I'll put it under the day specifically, especially if it's something big. Like Elise says, she's unpacks unpacked boxes that I gave up and threw materials at the end of the year. Like that's going to be a big tax, Elise. So something like that, I will have to put in my planner and plan for that. Set up whiteboard with info and agenda. I have that on mine as well. Yeah, I did not do that. Did not do that. I just didn't do a lot last year, but I'm definitely going to set up the whiteboard this year. Make color copies of resource papers. Now, at least where are you working? They giving you color copies. What in the world? That must be nice of resource papers students with reference throughout the year. Shout out to all the schools giving their teachers color copies. That's wonderful. Sandra says, out of my 5 schools, I only have 2 spaces to set up a room. Wait a minute. The other 3 schools are not dedicated room, just a space to use. Okay. I still want to know, Sandra, could you still maybe, do you have like a teacher card or something that you can kind of use for yourself, or like a small space in those areas that you can kind of help making teacher easier? You all are amazing. The fact that you all are traveling to these schools is amazing. Oh, okay. Colored paper. Okay. That's a good idea too, using colored paper. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. So thank you all for sharing like some of you all's classroom setup and organization. Now, my next category is lesson planning. And so, like I said, I did these two first because these are my two priorities for next week, which is classroom setup, and lesson planning, on top of the PD that I have to go to. So I know I can get this done. I'm not overwhelming myself. I know, at least because I know the week afterwards, you see, I'm having to do compliance and teacher collaboration. So this is really like my first week of actually being in the building, which is in service. And then this week right here is like my compliance teacher collaboration that's going into like the first week of school when students are actually there. So for me, like lesson plans, as you can see, like I'm going to plan the first week, the first lesson, and by that I mean is actually work on building out the lesson. For me, that's like making copies, that is getting everything that I need to get ready. I just thought of something. On set up student area. Um, you know, get their get their binders set up. And I know some people, like for me, with a student binder set up, just thinking of that, um, I put like their tabs and everything in there. I let them do most of everything else, but at least I'll do like their names on there, the tabs and the sections. It's just easier for me to do it that way. And then they just kind of put their papers in. But yeah, for the lesson plans, go ahead, make copies, go ahead and plan everything out for K through 2, plan the first week for 3 through 5. I'm doing that the first week. The second week, then I'm going to go ahead and plan the second week for them. I'm trying to be mindful of not doing too much um, ahead of time as far as detailed lesson plans, because right now I just don't know quite yet. I'm sure I'll know next week the exact date that I see my students, but I don't want to plan wait too far in ahead of time and throw things off. So that is my lesson plans. And then here you can see like compliance, right? So this list is going to get a lot longer, like I said. And Jennifer, I really wish I can find um let me go back to my vendors ESL in the group. And then Jennifer. Oh, okay, I see it. Oh, okay. So Jennifer, let's see if I can share this. Save photo. Um, wow, like I'm just looking at the one Jennifer sent out, and and it is extremely long. So thank you. This is going to help me out a lot, I'm sure. But Jennifer just tagged in the group. I'm going to send this one, Jennifer, because I feel like this one is more um like more national based, I guess, because it's kind of all things that we need to do. So I'm going to see if I can bring this up really quickly, you all, for you all, so you all can see the compliance one. Select this one and then airdrop it to my MacBook. I hope you all. Where did it go? Downloads. Okay. And then I'm not gonna say it real well, but you can see like in Jennifer's cases, right? Her district has already pretty much planned out like their compliance and everything that they need to do. And it's a checklist, right? And I love how they did it as a breakdown. You can see for like current ELLs, she has a checklist for waived ELLs, and she has one for T1 to T4. T1 and T4 here in state of Tennessee is transitional students that have exited out in their first year up to their fourth year, and for former ELLs. So she has like a 3 point checklist, and you see that it's different for each one. And I think something like this, if you're in a smaller district where they don't do this for you, like myself, right? So like something like this would be really helpful in kind of guiding me in regards in regards to what I need to do and my checklist around compliance for my students for the school year. So definitely thank you, Jennifer, for sharing that. She put that in the chat if you all kind of want to see it, look at it, and then kind of make your own based on whatever your state needs are around that. So thank you. Um, so what I wanted to go ahead and do, you all says you're brainstorming to have some type of organization for the other schools. Help appreciate it in either the same. So are there any other teachers in here that traveled that and shared their organization tips around that? Vivian says she's going to organize her school supply rolling cart. She's going to set up her testing materials. I love that. Let me you all put me. I'm putting this on my too. Organize students' notebooks and files. Yeah. Oh goodness. Yeah. Let me put that on mine. mm, I think they have a binder, right? Yeah. Thank you, Lisa. And of course, we'll be recording when I talk about some of the teacher collaboration. So if you haven't already, I really want to encourage you all to definitely consider, right? And if you haven't already, brainstorming your checklist for the school year. Like, what are you all going to be doing? It can be really simple. And you see, like, just from the chat, how I easily picked up some ideas. Like, I didn't dawn on me about the testing. I forgot. Yeah, of course, all of us, every single one of us, as part of federal guidelines, have to screen, have to test students. Like, we all have to do that for new students at the beginning of the school year. And so that should definitely be on your checklist. Like, you're going to have to do that for new incoming students. So a couple of things is that we are going to share today. We kind of talked about free and paid lesson plans. The next thing we're going to talk about is teacher collaboration. So a couple of y'all sent questions about that. I know this is a really common thing about teacher collaboration. And while I am just sharing like my views and my strategies around it, please share your opinion and your strategies in the chat, because I would love to hear them. The chat has been just great, and so I would love to hear that. So yes, I have to collaborate with teachers as well, and I know in the past that there have been some, not so pleasant experiences around it. And I've also have really amazing experiences with some great teachers. Like last year, um, I had so much fun. It was a lot of fun. So, okay, Vivian, really quickly. So, under teacher collaboration, under the checklist, I asked the teachers, can they give me what they're doing for their first unit? So I asked them, I need any books you're about to read. I need anything that you're doing the first week or the first month of school. Like I said, the teachers that I worked with last year were amazing. They had like their lessons already copied, planned. The ELA teacher, she would put them in my box. It was great. And so I knew like, oh, what they're doing. The challenge comes, y'all. Now these are teachers that I'm working with. They plan. They're probably like you and I, because if you're a planner, if you're here right now, you're watching this, and they planned ahead of time. So it was great because they would just give me literally their lesson plans and their worksheets and their work packets 2 or 3 weeks ahead of time. So I already knew what they were doing. Like, it was great. But the reality of it sometimes on the flip side is that you have teachers who plan day by day. And I know people do it. It's not my personal planning style. And I don't recommend it. I know some people do it. I personally do not recommend you do that. But there are teachers who do plan day by day. And that's really difficult if you're trying to support your students and then they don't know what they're doing that day. So I've had that happen as well. So I'll go back to that. I'm going to share some strategies around that. But the first thing I would say in regards to teacher collaboration is to build a relationship with them as much as you can during in service. I know, Sandra, that might be difficult for you because it sounds like you're at about 3 or 4 schools. So that's going to be difficult for you. So the next strategy that I share with you, Sandra, may work for you. So first things first, I have a really honest conversation about um, one, am I going to be observed? Like, I don't know if you all are in this situation, of course. I think most of us are, where you have like teacher observations in where they go into your classroom, admin comes into your classroom, they score you. I know here it's like on a level 1 to level 5. And those observations are then tied to your paycheck, pretty much, your licensing. Like, it's pretty serious. So, and they can't, your admin really can't say or not say. But I always say, like, look, if any point that if I'm going to be in this room, I am going to be observed with this teacher, then I need a joint planning period with them. Like, me and this teacher, we need to be on the same page. Like, if we're really in a co-teaching model where I am actually coming in and I am co-teaching with this teacher, then I need to plan with them. Like that, I don't play about. I'm very serious, like, because that is tied to your licensing. That is tied to how much money you make. It's you need to advocate for yourself, and you need to say, if I am going to be observed, and they know, then the schedule needs to reflect I am planning with their teacher, because there is just no way you can effectively co-teach where you're team teaching and you do not plan with that teacher. It's just not effective. And I would love for someone to try to come and say that it is, because how can you do that? You can't. So my first step to anybody is in a situation, if that is you and you're listening to this, you need to go to your admin and they need to schedule you where you and that co-teacher are on the same planning period where you can go and you can collaborate. Most times, if you put it that way and you say this is what it's going to be, they will comply, of course, right? Because it's logically they need to, right? So advocate for yourself, because at the end of the day, if they come in with a clipboard and a computer and you haven't advocated for yourself, then that is going to be, your money on the line, possibly your job on the line, if depending on your scores, your teaching license. So do not play around with that. Please, 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 please talk to your admin. On the flip side of that, if I'm in a situation where some of you all may be in this situation too, and I was like this as well a couple of times, where I'm just coming into the classroom. I'm not like co-teaching. I'm just in the classroom, sitting next to my student, and I'm just offering some support for like 15, 20 minutes, because that's what kind of situation I'm in this year, where I'm going into the classroom, offering support to the students. I'm just sitting there. Yeah, if that's me, and that was me last year, I of course I introduce myself to the teacher. This is my strategy, y'all. I introduce myself to the teacher. I let them know, hey, I'm going to be coming in and I am going to be helping, so and so this year. And I'm really chill about it, because if we all were just being honest with ourselves, very few teachers want other people in their classroom. I get it. I'm like that some days. I'm like, I just don't want anybody else in here with me. And I think we need to, I know I do, be real with myself about that and understand that, right? Um, and I'm like, Vivian, most teachers are like that. Oh, can you just go ahead and take them? Okay, I can do that. Because they don't want people in their room for whatever reason. I get it. Like, and I say that in so many words. Like, I understand. Like, but I'm here. Some teachers are eager. On the flip side, some teachers are like, oh, please come in. And then you have a set of teachers that are like, I don't want anybody in my room for whatever reason. You're gonna encounter, and then you may have a few like me that are kind of in the middle. Like, if it has to happen, it has to happen. I'm okay with it. Okay. I think that the first step in that is you need to empathize with that and understand that, like, look, I get it. Like, if you're in a situation, right, where you're just going in for 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and you're just sitting next to a student, you just supporting that student during the class. I get it. Like, and so when I go in those first couple of weeks, I am extremely low key. Like, I am not trying to, you know, teach the class. I am not trying to, be like, you need to do it this way, you need to do it that way. When I go into these teachers' classrooms and I'm just sitting there supporting my student, I will I'll support the student, I'll help them out. And then what slowly starts to happen, this is just my experience. I would love to know everybody else's experience. What slowly starts to happen is that the other students at the table, they will start like asking me questions like, oh, Miss Williams, what do you think? Or can you help me? Or can you do this, this, and this, and this? And then slowly the other students around. And then when the teacher starts to see that, like, I'm not there and I'm not being like, oh, you need to do this or you need to do that or this is what's happening. It's in a way building trust. So that's my point. It's like when you're going in there and you're just sitting in there, you're just supporting your students, build trust through that way. Show them that like you are not in there trying to take over their class and try to teach their class or try to tell them what they need to do, because nobody wants to do that. Because if I was to ask you all, would you all want somebody to come in your classroom and telling you all what to do? You all probably gonna be like, no. And I'm the same way. So I really try to be respectful to the teacher and her classroom and try to be real low key, chill, help the students any way I can. And then what I have found over this year, what slowly starts to happen is that the teachers are like, hey, do you mind helping out with this group? Or do you mind sitting over with this group and helping this group out? Or do you mind giving some input on what you think, or can you look this up? So it's a slowly building of trust in that. So that is my biggest piece of advice, and just being transparent with you all. It depends on Sandra. I don't know your situation. It sounds like you are going in a situation where you are going to be observed. And Sandra, please take my advice. If you have not emailed your admin, email them ASAP and say, look, I need to be scheduled to where I plan with that teacher. On another note, like if you're in a situation as well that where you are planning with a teacher, and yes, Candace, woo, building trust. And I'm telling you, the best way to do it is just go in, be chill. And sometimes, depending on your personality, is hard. I'm not saying like if the teacher is like, mistreating or doing anything like that, don't say anything. What I'm just saying is you just let them run their classroom, how they're going to run their classroom, and you go in and support your students the way you're going to support your students. And after you start building that trust and they see that, then they start opening up, and then are more like, can you do this, can you do that, right? Yes, Vivian, it really does take time. I guess the point is, that's a good point. Don't go in there thinking it's going to happen right then. It's not. It's not. It is really going to take time. And what I would like for myself is that when I do the schedule, I'm going to ask like, hey, can I collaborate with those same teachers that I collaborated last year? Because the trust is already there, right? So, if possible, sometimes they change grade levels. But if I can, I'm going to ask my admin, can I work with them, please? Please let me work with them, right? And so, if they see that, they're going to be open to it too. Now, on a flip side of that, if you're in a situation, and I know people don't want to do this, but once again, your job is on the line, your data is on the line, your test scores are on the line, everything is on the line. If you're with a teacher and they are sending you lesson plans a day ahead of time, not telling you what they're doing, and you are in a situation, once again, I would say do this in a situation where if you're being observed, right? Like somebody is going to come in and they are going to observe you. And that teacher is not sending you lesson plans. They are not holding up their end of the deal. You need to start sending some emails, and you need to start copying in your admin. And I know people do not want to hear that. I know that you don't want to hear that. But if you have asked, if you've gone to them personally and said, hey, I need these lesson plans, can you at least sketch out for me or give me an idea of what we're doing next week? It doesn't have to be super detailed, but can you let me know what we're doing next week? If you've gone to them and you've talked to them over and over and over and over again, and they are still not providing you with lesson plans, and they're still not doing that, then it's time that you have a serious conversation with your admin. Because once again, if admin comes in with a clipboard and a computer and you are being observed, not that other teacher, and you don't know what's going on, you don't know what's happening, I have seen it, you all. It is not a joke, and it will really break you. You're gonna it's gonna break you down, and you are gonna possibly have low observation scores, which once again affects your teacher license, which affects your money, which affects what schools you can get to go to the following year. That all affects you. So make sure that if you're trying your best and you're building this relationship, and that teacher is not holding up their end of the deal, sending you what they're doing for the week or for the month, you go talk to your admin about it. And admin may do one or two things. They may not come observe you during that class period, okay, fine. Or they may have a serious conversation with that teacher about what they're doing. I'm willing to bet, though, they probably already and know how to handle it. So I would love to know you all's feedback on that. Those are my two things, and it seems really simple, but I think everybody else is in agreement that you have to build trust with those teachers. Like that is the key, is building trust. And then teachers talk. And so even if you don't have if you don't know the teachers, I'm willing to bet they're gonna be like, oh yeah, Miss Rader's cool. Like she cool. She never gonna come in your classroom, girl, and tell you what you need to be doing and what you don't. They're gonna they're gonna have those conversations with each other. So word is gonna spread, right? So try to take the time to build those relationships as well. Yeah, Jennifer says that my ESL department has a relationship with our schedule coordinator, which is great. I'm gonna add that is a really good point, Ms. Rader. Because if you can get your ESL department, and she's right, like if your ESL team, like your ESL supervisor, can talk to your admin, you don't have to do this. You can go to your ESL supervisor and talk to your ESL supervisor and say, hey, they want me to push in and they want me to co-teach with this teacher. And this is what I need to be successful. Can you talk to my admin about this? And they will. They will definitely do it. I don't think I've ever met an ESL supervisor to just be like, no, I'm not going to do that. They will definitely talk to your admin because their job as supervisors to advocate on your behalf. So, but if you don't say anything, um, they will definitely come in and they will be like, well, you didn't say anything. So make sure you say something and you have record of you saying something. Vivian says you can ask the most advanced students to tell you what they're doing in the classroom so you can prepare a lesson plan that incorporates whatever the students share with you for that observation. Yes, that's a really good strategy as well. And a lot of times those advanced students, I've experienced this as well. That's a really good point too. They can go into like great detail about everything that they're doing. And it's okay. Like I'd love that. Like if you talk to an advanced student or a student in the classroom and they're telling you what's happening and you prepare a following lesson the next week, then that's great too. You're just reinforcing what they learned from that previous week. So that is my spiel about teacher collaboration. Once I start doing that, it's just got a lot easier for me. Look, if I'm in there 10, 15 minutes a day and I'm pushing in and I'm just supporting a student, I would love for them to send me their plans. That would be ideal. But a lot of times, like if I have a general overview by looking at their curriculum map, that's what I use too. A lot of districts have the curriculum map for each subject area posted on their websites. So I go in and I look at that and I have a really good idea of what they're going to do. So I use that as well to kind of help guide me. So I really, really hope that helped. You all had another question. I'm going to go back up to it and make sure. So Sandra, I hope we answered that. Sandra, please let us know if you had any follow-up questions around that. So we can, as a team, can kind of come help you walk you through that. I'm trying to make sure that I got all of the questions as well. So I'm just going through, looking, making sure I got all of them. Yeah, Vivian made another good point too. She says, if you meet with the admin after your observation, discuss her comments, then you can address how you found the challenge in the most positive way and that you decided to use the student's information. That always shows you, I'm going to save this for my own observation because that's a really good strategy. Yes, you all, I'm telling you, if you're a new teacher, it looks like we all have teacher observations, right? So if you are a new teacher, these are some really, really good strategies to use for your teacher observations. I know some of us are probably a little bit more seasoned, so we probably, I don't know about you, how many observations you all get a year? I think last year I got 2. Sometimes in our district, new teachers get 4 observations a year, 1 announced, 3 unannounced. And so if you're a new teacher, you're watching this and you're like, oh my gosh, Yes. So on top of everything else, you have, people will come in. And once again, I cannot stress enough. I'm so grateful that I've had such a positive experience with teacher observations, because I really do try to look at what they're saying from their perspective. Like I mentioned one that I had this school year, and see, like, okay, I can see where they're coming from with that, you know. Um I can see that. Like I can see that. I can see how I can improve with that. As well. Um I'm going to make sure. Yeah. So Rhonda says she has two. Candace says she has several drop-ins and one formal. Candace, that's nice. I love drop. You can do a drop-in, right? Because usually drop-ins don't go on like your teacher date or whatever. Rhonda says two observations. So it looks like we're about like at one or two observations a year. If you're a new teacher, I'm willing to bet there's going to be a lot more observations and a lot of drop-ins that you're probably going to have your first year teaching. So definitely share those in the comments. If you have any other follow-up questions on this, please let me know. Okay. I just want to thank you all for being here and for listening today. I am going to, because I know there's been some me going in and out. This weekend, I'm going to re-record all of the sessions, and I'm going to post them like I told you all. And I'm going to upload the transcripts with all of our comments in here as well. So that'll be ready for you. I will also send out the all of the documents that I promised you all. Like I'll send out the PD certificate. I will also send out that free full curriculum guide if you want to use it in a blank one. So if you want to use it as well, I'll send out those coupon codes. So you're going to get an email from me, and it'll be in the chat, not in the chat, but in the Facebook group of all of these links, just to make sure that when you start planning, you have some resources that you can use as well. Yeah, and Vivian, really quick on observations. Vivian says that the observations depend on which year they put you on. That's key too. I think they do something, and maybe Jennifer can kind of confirm too. I think they do something similar in our school district as well. Is what year, depending on what year you're in and what year you're on, and that's how many observations that you get for the school year. So, new teachers out there, look, you all have a lot, even even the ones that aren't a lot going on, but definitely as a new teacher, please come back to the community. Let us know and let us know how we can support you. Vivian just gave a great tip that I know I'm going to use as well for the observations, and I definitely have some good observation. We call them post conferences. As well, that to give you some good strategies that you can use around your post conferences to help you get those scores up a lot higher. Oh my gosh, you all, I talk way too much. Hold on. Really quickly. Um I did it again. I did it again. So, and if you don't want to stay for the data binder, you don't have to stay for the data binder. I will send it out to you. But I wanted to share with you all. These are the ones that Sandra. I want to share with you all. Shout out to my team. They gave me, because they know I love data binders. They bought me as a gift one of those binding machines. So what I did, Sandra, was, and I'll link this, is that and I'm going to do this year's too. You are so welcome, Rhonda. I will be sending out a PD certificate for everyone. But I linked the printed out all the pages, which I'll send you all the pages to this, and I binded it. I made the mistake this year of putting it in their binder, and it was so messy. But as you can see here, I hope you can see a little bit, you all, right here. Oh, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. This is part of the problem. Hold on a second. There we go. So, right here, you can kind of see I have something for standards, right? And I told you all this yesterday. And then I write down all of the standards right here. I print them out. You can do this in the data binder. And then each day they rate themselves like, are they a level 3, a level 4, level 5? Like they rate themselves and put the date next to it. So that's something basic that I do every day with the data binder. And you can do as well. You can put your learning goals and then you can put like the levels on there for them. Know you all mentioned, and it kind of, this is what they, level of understanding, this is what they use. Um, Next thing I do, this is what I do at the beginning of the year. I do that throughout the year, but at the beginning of the year, and Drishna didn't come until mid-year, but I'm gonna just give you an idea. Like, and I know Ms. Rader wanted to know this too. So right here, we set a SMART goal for the month at the beginning. It is you can edit this however you want to edit it, right? So however you want to edit this, you can edit. So we set a SMART goal for the month, each month. I'm gonna show you all Stephanie's, and they actually graduated this past year. So I'm pretty sure this is okay. Since this is like they just graduated high school. Um, Here, right here, this is what I do. And you all asked me yesterday, like, what do I do the first week? What do I do the first week? Like this kind of stuff right here is what I do the first week, the first week and a half. As you can see, we have conversations like this is her WIDA score. This is her goal. Once again, our state has goals already preset for them. So I already know their goals, like to exit. And this mid-year, so these are the kind of things, and then I have conversations, like I said, around them as well. I know yesterday I mentioned, let's see if she has hers in here. I mentioned that they graph the scores, so you can kind of see them graphing their tracker scores in there as well. So a really good question. Vivian says, how long do I have to set this up? I think it depends, and this is one of the big pieces of feedback that I get from people that buy the binder in the store. They're like, oh, it takes too long. Well, it depends on you. So for me, I'm gonna, at the beginning of the year, like next month during in service or the first week, I am going to print out all the pages. It's just easier for me this way. You have two ways, and then I'm going to bind them and just let them color it. And then it's already set up, and I don't have to take any time at the beginning of the year. The flip option, this is what I did this school year, is I printed it all out. And then what I did was I had the students put them in the binder. I found personally, you all, for me, because maybe just because I wasn't consistent, and I can admit that, that it was really messy. And then they had it in there with all of their do nows and everything. So I'm gonna go back to this option where I bind them myself and then have them go through and just use it that way. They have a weekly reflection letter. And so I've actually put this into my lesson plans on Friday to where they reflect on the week. And then that's going to help hold me accountable because I've skipped over this, but I think this will be a really powerful tool if they had a weekly reflection letter as well. And I'm trying to see what else in here that's in detail that you all can see that I used a lot. And as you can see, I didn't use a lot of the binder. Like I'm going to go through and go through and like pick the things that I use a lot. I would say that, and that's what I tell people who purchase it, is that pick and choose what works for you in your classroom. So for right here, for example, this is like a module tracker. So and you can, like I said, you can edit it. So this is something I edited in here. But I put in the pre-assessment and post-assessments for the students, and I added that in because they had that at the end of their units, because they had in middle school they had something they had where the ELA teachers had to give them a pre-assessment and a post-assessment. So I just want to give you all an overview. I wish that I'll post the one that I did for my elementary students when I go to school tomorrow. I'll get theirs and scan theirs, and you all can see theirs, right? Elise says, "What grades or levels did you use this for? How often did you have your students, or you return it throughout the year?" This is a really good question. I've used this for middle schoolers, and I've used this for elementary. So I've used it for second through fifth grade. I have not figured out how to do kindergarten and first. I will have to figure that out this year because they're going to have it in first grade this year. So I have to figure it out. I'm more than likely, my gut feeling is saying I'm going to have to edit it at least a little bit for them, but they are going to have one this year too. And okay, so my first year, I was really consistent about them doing it. Like I'm consistent about this every day though. This part right here, at least every day, was really consistent. And I'm really thinking this is her second one because they ran out of the first one. But you see, every single day, I'm consistent about them unpacking the learning targets. And what I mean is that it's in student friendly terms. They tell me, you can tell, like this one, for example, she says, "I can determine the theme or central ideas of an informational text." And she put here, this is her level, a level one. Like she's like, odd. And here on the emoji chart, you can see, for example, you all, that a level one, oops, a level one, let me put that right there. Right here is beginning. And so I have conversations with them at the beginning of the school year, and I say to them, "Hey, like what you use is, this is between you. Like this is your personal business. Like I'm going to check in with you on it, but this is your personal business. However you use this is how, whatever you are is where you are." Because the thing is that you want to know how you're growing. And you can see they're being really honest here because I have these conversations at first. A lot of times the students want to put fours. And I'm like, well, what's the point if you don't get it? Like, why would you put a level 4 if you're not level 4? Like, you want to see. And I said, look, you see as the days go by, she's getting higher and higher. Like, she's feeling more confident. And then once they started to see that, then it was great. So, at least your question, I did this every day. Now, where I struggled was doing like the reflection letters and doing the SMART goals each month. Like that, I struggled with. So that's why this year, when I'm using it, I'm going to make sure that I actually put it into my lesson plans and into my PowerPoint presentation so to help me stay consistent with it. Also, don't feel like you have to use everything. Don't feel like you have to use everything on there. Okay, so I hope it answered how long did it take me to set up the binders. Yes, I did this, like I said, when I was in middle school, every single student, every level did it. And that's why I included the face stickers here. Because for the newcomers, I wanted them to, I wanted to remove any kind of difficulty that they may have. So that's why I used the face stickers on there for them. And the students kept them in their own binders. Like they kept them in their student boxes. I didn't keep them because honestly, if I had to keep them, they probably wouldn't get them back. So just being real with myself, I knew that I had to return them to them. Oh, Vivian says having them graphing is great because they practice that Sandra skills. Yes, I'm going to tell you all. That's a good point too. I did not realize how many of them struggle with graphing because you have to have numbers. And I was even in middle school. I'm like, you all, because a lot of a lot of times they will be like, where is like, because you see right here. Let me move this over. A lot of times they will be like, where is 3.6 or something. And I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean? Where is it at? So that is a really, really great skill. Um, yeah, Vivian says that K and first would be simpler and have a lot of illustrations. Yeah, I'm thinking I can do that too. I would let, if you all want to see me work through this with K through first, I will definitely post videos and pictures. I said I was going to start doing more of that too. But yes, I'm thinking like, I'm going to still have K through first graph it, but I'm thinking for them, I'm going to have, I won't, I'm going to have to put something here. I'm going to have to make something work. I probably won't have them do point 0.5. I probably have them do level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like they can do that. I'm pretty sure. Candace asks, "Am I using Common Core standards?" Yes, but on here, that's why. I'll link to this, you all, but I'll put the link in here in a minute. But that's why I leave it blank because I know everybody has different state standards. So what I do is I just copy whatever the standards are for my state, and I use them that way as well. Vivian asks, "Are those face stickers? Where do you get them?" So I have a Cricut, and this was me, Vivian, being extra. And I made the stickers. You can buy face stickers like this. I did not use the face stickers last year, but I do think they enjoyed these face stickers a lot. Like it was like extra motivation for them for the face stickers, and they really, really loved them. So either I'm gonna make them, or again, and I'm gonna have to make a lot of them, or you can make them yourself. Like you can go on Teacher Pay Teacher, type in emoji, and then there are a lot of emoji stickers or emoji clip art, and you can print them out on sticker paper and cut them out. To me, that's way too much work. That's why I use the Cricut on mine, and I'm linking you all to the data binder so you all can see in here as well. And last year I was just a little lazy and I didn't use either one of them. You asked some really good questions. Elise says, "How much time do you plan for updating the data binder if classes are only 50 minutes?" At least this is a good question. This is the biggest feedback. If you go on there right now I just put the link in there, and this is the biggest piece of feedback that I got from the teachers is that it takes too long. And I'm always like, look, you're right. I don't do this. I do this every day because this is a part of when you get observed. Like I'm pretty sure standards are tied into your observation. So that's why I was able to stay consistent with this part every single day because this is part of my lesson. I asked them, okay, this is the standard. This is the goal. I need you to go in. I need you to think about, reflect, and see where you are with this standard. Like that's every single day. So that's why I'm saying that when you get this, or if you purchase this binder, do not let it overwhelm you. Like I suggest you go through it and you pick and choose what you want in there and for your students that you can stay consistent with. So I'm not going to sit up here and say that you can see I do not use this. Only thing I use every day was the language standards. That's what I use every day. But that's why for me to stay consistent, I am only including certain things in this binder. So at the beginning of the year, at least to answer your question, and I did find hers in here, I set up the SMART goals. So you can see here, the beginning of the school year, this is her SMART goal. So I do that. Remember, I don't know if you remember, but we talk about like growth mindset activities that we're doing. So this is one that I do with them at the beginning of the school year. It's set a SMART goal for the year. Usually it can be around their WIDA scores. And last year I just said, well, you pick one, but this year I'm going to have them do it around their WIDA scores, like I did her. And then when I did this, I saw a lot of growth around it. And then, as you can see, Elise and everybody else, I did at the beginning of the school year as part of their growth mindset is I had them complete this and I had them graph it. So that's going to be my second mindset activity. And then I'm going to because I don't do a lot of pre and post tests this year, so I wouldn't need the progress tracker as much unless I use their data from class. I could do that, but I really wish I had the one from this school year. But here at the back, if I can find it, have them do a reflection letter to themselves each week. So mine is not going to be really big. Like, it's just going to include some of those things in there that I mentioned in there. So my answer to the question that is just pick and choose that things that you can stay consistent with in your classroom. Yeah, and Vivian said I can choose the students to do this reflections in their binders as a closed activity or maybe a do now. Yeah, you can even turn some of these parts of this into a do now, like the reflection. You can have them do a do now. Um, Vivian says in our ELP assessment, higher grades are asked to compare and contrast a lot of information between a graph, a chart, and a paragraph. Oh wow, they sure are. I'm thinking about it, and they really sure are asked to do that in the end of the year assessment. They are, yeah. Um, Thank you, Vivian, for those emoji stickers. I hope I can. I'm pretty sure I can see this after the fact. I'm gonna like this right now. But yes, you all, this is how I use mine. I know you all had a lot of questions about it. And the more I think about it, I think that this is probably one of those things that teachers, when they come in, like I said, they never ask about, like, data binders. They never ask about that. But it's something that we all need. So I really am going to do some more in detail or some more in-depth session rather around this data binder, like how to use it, how I'm using it. And I will say, and I know it's a big part of it, is that when the students know their data and where they are, they own it. Like, they own it. You have to hold them accountable to it. But I talk with the students and their data all throughout the school year. I know since I've implemented this in my classroom, I've just noticed just amazing difference from the students. Um, but this is a good point. I'm definitely going to see if I can do this for my kindergartners and my first graders. So thank you all. Well, I have been going on for an hour and a half. So I really enjoyed you all this week. I am going to try to go live for my classroom tomorrow. Just if anything, to show you all their data binders. So you'll probably see me in the morning. It'll just be a live where I just go in and show you all their data binders, so you can at least see the elementary school data binders that I did last year with them and walk you all through those. I want to thank you all so much for being here with me today. I loved every single one of you all. I'm going to load your chat up with all of these links so you'll have access to that and the PD certificate so you'll have access to that as well. Once again, thank you all so much. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.